Hello there. I'm Dr. Harris. I'm 60 years old, and for over 3 decades, I've walked alongside people over 50 on their journey to preserve their health and the dignity of aging gracefully. Today, I want you to take a moment to think about a handful of almonds. Yes, just a small handful, something that might seem insignificant. But to me and to many of my patients, it's a natural remedy that far too many people overlook. Have you ever felt constantly tired even when you haven't done anything too strenuous? Or woken up in the middle of the night with a dull, aching cramp in your calf? The kind that feels like your muscles turned to stone. I once treated Mr. Jackson, 68 years old, a retired mechanic. He told me, "Doctor, I eat well, I exercise, but I still wake up every night with leg cramps." Just 2 weeks after adding soaked almonds to his daily routine, the cramps were nearly gone. Almonds don't just provide magnesium. They also contain healthy fats that help carry essential minerals into your muscles more effectively. And here's something most people don't know: almonds help neutralize mild acidity in the blood, a hidden cause of inflammation and fatigue as we age. Now, I'm not saying this is magic. But if there's something small, natural, and easy to do that can improve your sleep, your energy, and even those nagging cramps, almonds might just be one of nature's little gifts. Have you ever tried it? If not, maybe now is the time. Let me paint a picture for you. It's morning. Soft sunlight pours through the window. You're sitting at your kitchen table, holding a warm cup of water. Beside you, a small plate with just a few almonds that had been soaked overnight. Nothing fancy, nothing expensive. But this quiet little habit could be the start of something powerful inside your body. You see, as we grow older, our bodies slowly lose the ability to absorb minerals, especially magnesium. And here's the tricky part: many common medications, diuretics, heart pills, actually cause magnesium to leak out even faster. It's no surprise that many people say, "But I eat well, doctor." Yet if your body can't absorb what it needs, you're still left deficient. That's why I often tell my patients, don't just rely on pills. Let food be your medicine. Soaked almonds, not roasted, not salted, are one of the most natural and effective ways for your body to take in magnesium. I remember asking Mrs. Linda, 73 years old, a retired school teacher, after 3 weeks of adding this habit, "What's changed for you?" She smiled and said, "I'm not just sleeping better. I feel lighter. Like my body finally stopped bracing itself." Would you like to feel that way? Sometimes healing doesn't begin in a hospital. It begins on a small plate at your breakfast table. Have you ever heard this saying? Old age doesn't arrive with a bang, it slips in quietly through the things we stop noticing. To me, nighttime leg cramps are one of those quiet signs. Not life-threatening, no, but they steal your sleep, drain your energy, and little by little chip away at the confidence you once had in your own body. What troubles me the most is this: so many people live with these cramps for years, thinking it's just a normal part of aging. But in truth, your body is speaking to you, asking gently but persistently for a little more magnesium, a little more kindness, a little more care. And you can start answering that call with something as small as a few soaked almonds, softened, easy to digest, like a message to your muscles and nerves that says, "I haven't forgotten you. I'm still taking care of you." I remember one quiet afternoon in the clinic, Mr. Paul, 70 years old, held my hand and said, "Doctor, I never imagined that a few almonds could help me sleep through the night. I always thought I needed more pills." I just smiled, because sometimes it's not about adding more medicine. It's about remembering the simple things we've overlooked. You don't have to change everything overnight. But you can begin with just one thing repeated every morning, like the habit of eating almonds. And maybe, just maybe, that's how you begin to reclaim the peace you thought you'd lost, along with those sleepless, cramp-filled nights. Are you let? Let me share with you a perspective that many people often overlook. Almonds aren't just a rich source of magnesium. They represent something much deeper, the quiet power of nourishment. Not loud, not flashy, but steady, consistent, much like how so many older adults have spent their lives quietly caring for others year after year. You know, the act of soaking almonds before eating them reminds me of something more human, the need to soak ourselves too, to soften the stress, to loosen the wear and tear life has layered onto us over the decades. Within that thin brown skin of the almond lies a wealth of antioxidants, polyphenols, and natural minerals. But without the right preparation, your body won't absorb any of it. And just like life, when you take the time to slow down and be intentional, the goodness has a chance to truly sink in. I'm not asking you to follow a strict diet or overhaul your entire fridge. I'm simply inviting you to try one gentle act. Tonight before bed, place a small handful of almonds in a glass of water. And tomorrow morning, eat them slowly in peace and stillness, because in that moment, you're not just feeding your body magnesium. You're reminding yourself, I am worth caring for every single day by my own two hands. And I believe your body will respond gently, gratefully. There's something I often say to my patients, especially those over 60. Healing doesn't begin with medicine. It begins with the choices we make each day. A handful of soaked almonds isn't some miracle cure. It won't have you running marathons next week. But it is a habit, a small promise you quietly make to your body that you still care, that you still want to move forward, that you haven't given up on your health. And I've seen it again and again in people who thought hope was out of reach. I remember Mrs. Evelyn, 75 years old. She came to see me exhausted from restless nights and painful leg cramps that left her drained by morning. She'd tried sleep aids, magnesium pills, massages, but the relief never lasted. So I gently suggested, maybe it's time to nourish your magnesium naturally. Try just a few soaked almonds each morning. She looked surprised, but she gave it a try. 3 weeks later, she returned, smiling softly. Doctor, I'm sleeping through the night again. I don't dread bedtime anymore. Now, I'm not saying almonds are the one and only answer, but sometimes what changes everything is how you start your day. With care, with patience, with one small act repeated with love. You could begin that tomorrow morning. And who knows, maybe your body is already waiting for you to come back to it. If you're still unsure, let me gently invite you to ask yourself, this is my body being truly heard. Jing doesn't hit us all at once. It arrives quietly in sleepless nights, in footsteps that feel less steady, and in those sharp midnight cramps that jolt you awake like a warning whisper. But here's the beautiful truth, your body is still listening to you. Even if you've forgotten to nourish it, move it, or let it rest, it keeps going silently, faithfully, waiting for you to return with even the smallest gesture. A handful of soaked almonds. It costs less than $1. It takes less than a minute. But it sends a powerful signal: I haven't given up. I still want to live, well, move freely, and wake up strong. I've seen it in the lives of hundreds of people in their 60s, 70s, even 80s, slowly regaining their sleep, their clarity, and their strength, not through medication, but through consistent, loving choices each day. So if you're standing at the edge wondering where to begin, start with the simplest thing. A few almonds, a little patience, and a renewed sense of care for yourself. I believe your body will respond not with noise, not with urgency, but quietly, steadily, and with deep gratitude.